Hello students, let us look into our next video lecture in WTA, that is web technology and its applications. These are the course overview and course outcome. In this video lecture we will look about module 3, that is on JavaScript. Again, in JavaScript we have three different modules as client side module, server side module and general module. So as a client side scripting language, JavaScript is widely used for website development. So let us look on that part first. So this is covered in chapter 6 of your Randy Connolly Fundamentals of Web textbook. So accordingly I have placed the chapter number, but it actually comes under third module. So in first section we will look into what is a JavaScript. JavaScript runs inside the browser. You does not require any kind of additional compilers and all. It need not have to be compiled like Java and all. It is a dynamically typed language. Another characteristics of it is a dynamically typed language. So what is the meaning of dynamically typed language is, like say if you ask what are the data types in C, we say that it is integer, floating point, character, string, right? These are all data types, and in initially only we declare them like int a. So a is going to become a data type of a is going to become an integer and is a static type. It is never going to change. Whereas in JavaScript there is no rules, or there is no strict rule that every variable should be declared first before the usage. So unlike C, declaration of a variables is not compulsion in case of JavaScript. So based on value what we store inside it, its type is changed. So initially I can store some number into a particular variable, later I can store a string, later I can store a date into it. So its data type can change throughout the lifetime of a particular program. One particular variable can change its type. That's why it's a dynamically typed language. And it's a usual scenario in all the language wherever declaration of the variable is not mandatory, and hence it is applicable for JavaScript also. And one of the similarity between Java and JavaScript is actually if you look at the way of usage, you can say the purpose of Java and JavaScript, both are completely two different languages. But there are a few similarities. JavaScript is also object-oriented language. That you know that when you have a completely object-oriented language, it is everything in a language is an object. So objects in JavaScript are prototype-based rather than the class-based. We do not write a program where we are having a class-like declaration. We have a built-in objects defined, so we are just making use of those built-in objects in order to have the benefits of built-in functions of those classes, which means that while JavaScript shares some of the syntactic features of PHP, Java, C# also, it is also quite different from those languages also. So if you are familiar with these languages, we can just compare it and study. I hope some of you might be, or you are aware of Java, which I learned in the previous semesters. So while doing it, actually the purpose is different. There is no need of comparison also. So but you can just, as the name comes JavaScript, it is because of the developer or the manufacturer of both the languages are same. That's why the name JavaScript. Okay. Otherwise, Java and JavaScript are totally different. So what is not a JavaScript? It's not a Java. Okay, although it contains the word Java, these two are totally two different full-fledged totally two different programming languages with the different usages of them. Java is a full-fledged compiled object-oriented language. It is popular because of its platform independency. It is enabled through JVM, Java Virtual Machine, right? Whereas JavaScript is one of the world's most popular language with fewer of the object-oriented features of Java. though it is a fully object oriented language, it is not having all the features of object oriented languages, and it directly runs inside the browser without using a virtual machine, right? So it's completely different from Java. How client side scripting takes place, let me explain here. The first step you can just observe here. From the browser, this is the browser. From the browser you are sending a request. One you can observe here, get/vacation.html. so this is one of the header of the HTML. Get, you are requesting for certain HTML page whose name is vacation.html. so then this request is sent to the web server, right? So this vacation.html is received back to the browser, correct? So this is the code inside the vacation.html. so what you are able to see, you can just observe here. You have a body tag, you have certain other HTML tags like h1. Apart from that, you are able to observe one special tag here as script, where certain scripting code is written. So this is actually a part of JavaScript code. Okay, so this is sent back to the browser. Browser is layouting and displaying the output to the user back. So what it shows is web server is sending the document, HTML document where JavaScript is embedded as it is to the browser, and this browser itself is executing a JavaScript if it is there inside the HTML document like this, and that output is displayed to the user. So this is how this is what happens in a client side scripting. So why the name client side scripting? The reason is, whatever you have requested, the page is written by the server, but it is executed at the client's browser. That's why we call it as a client side scripting. It is not executed, this part of the code is not executed by the server, rather it is executed by the browser itself. That's why we call the portion of the syllabus that what we are looking into this chapter or this particular module is totally on client side scripting. So the reason is it is executing at the user's or client's browser, not by the server. There are many advantages of client side scripting, like processing can be uploaded from the server, right? You know that many client machines will be connecting to the server, right? And if every client is requesting to run some or the other code on to the server, then it is a burden on the so we can reduce the load of the server by computing at the client side itself. The browser can respond faster than getting the request fulfilled by server, because it did not have to transfer the whole logic, rather the output it is getting executed at the browser's window itself. That is the major advantage. JavaScript can interact with the downloaded HTML in a way that the server cannot. Creating a user experience is more like desktop software than a simple HTML ever could. So it is also not requiring any additional infrastructure to be stored, or server need not have to be strong enough if you are doing majority of the tasks at the client side. So though it is not possible to do everything with this client side scripting, many of the tasks of server can be shared by the client side scripting. Though there are some advantages of client side scripting, there are certain disadvantages or challenges which are posed by the scripting language. What are those? Let us see. There is no guarantee that the client has JavaScript enabled. Sometimes some of the browsers may not have enabled the JavaScript, even though it is automatically done by the default settings, and is not requiring any additional paid software, so it is available. The other challenge is heavy web applications cannot be executed on the client side only, so it becomes complicated to debug and maintain. So we'll see the rest of the part in next video lecture. Thank you.